From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I am Ahmed Ramadan. Walmart warns prices may rise up import tariffs, drive up costs despite recent US-China trade relief. This and more in today's show, so stay tuned. A cryptic Instagram post by former FBI Director James Comey has sparked accusations of inciting violence against President Donald Trump. Comey posted a photo of seashells arranged as 8647, slang some interpret as eliminate the 47th president. Trump is the 47th U.S. president. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem confirmed the DHS and Secret Service are investigating the post. Donald Trump Jr. accuses Comey of calling for his father's murder. Comey deleted the photo and said he did not know the numbers suggested violence. He said it was a mistake and insisted he opposes violence. Trump's former aide Dan Scavino called Comey's post a hidden message to bad actors. The post, though deleted, spread widely online, fueling political fire. A federal judge has dismissed charges against 98 migrants accused of trespassing in a military zone near the New Mexico border. The court found no proof the migrants knew they were entering a restricted area. Some were arrested before signs went up. Others arrived in darkness or couldn't read the warnings. Judge Gregory Wormuth ruled the prosecutors failed to show migrants knowingly violated the military zone. The 180-mile stretch was declared a national defense area under the Trump administration as part of stricter border control measures. Nearly 400 migrants were charged under these regulations, facing up to a year in prison. The arrests overwhelmed local jails and courts, with dozens of shackled migrants appearing daily. Observers say the case highlights growing legal and humanitarian concerns over the criminalization of border crossings. Senate Republicans have blocked a Democratic push to investigate human rights abuses in El Salvador tied to U.S. deportations. The bill, led by Senator Tim Kaine, sought a report from the Trump administration on compliance with U.S. court orders regarding forced deportations to mega prisons in El Salvador. It failed in a 50-45 vote. Kaine warned that President Donald Trump plans to send more Americans to these prisons. Senate Democrats, including Chuck Schumer, said they won't stop pressing for answers. The bill was sparked by the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. ICE deported Abrego Garcia in March, wrongly linking him to the MS-13 gang. He is now jailed without trial in El Salvador's notorious CCOP prison. The U.S. admitted the deportation was an administrative error, but has refused to bring him back. Democrats argue the U.S. must ensure that legal protections for its citizens and residents are not violated under international deals. Walmart says shoppers may soon see higher prices due to import tariffs. CEO Doug McMillon has warned the company can't fully absorb rising costs. He said while Walmart will try to keep prices low, the tariffs' impact is too large. Walmart imports many products from China, Mexico, and India. Only about a third of its goods are sourced within the U.S. Though recent U.S.-China talks led to reduced tariffs, cost pressures remain. The U.S. agreed to slash duties on Chinese goods from 145% to 30%. China will cut its tariffs on U.S. products from 125% to 10% starting May 14. Despite this breakthrough, Walmart expects continued strain on pricing. Experts say Walmart's prices often reflect wider retail trends across the U.S. In California, Arab, Muslim, and Jewish advocacy groups have slammed the State Assembly's Education Committee for passing AB 715. The bill passed unanimously in a special hearing, drawing sharp criticism from the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR, the Arab Resource and Organizing Center, and Jewish Voice for Peace. CAIR says AB 715 expands the definition of nationality in California's education code to include perceived ancestry, ethnicity, or even religious affiliation tied to a country such as Israel. The group says this opens the door to punishing educators who teach about Palestine, colonialism, or human rights abuses. simply because someone claims offense tied to their national or religious identity. Observers say the bill threatens academic freedom and targets educators who teach about Palestine, colonialism, or human rights. Critics also accuse lawmakers of fast-tracking AB 715 without input from Arab or Muslim communities. They say the bill falsely presents itself as a measure against anti-Semitism while ignoring anti-Palestinian racism. More than 100 people attended the hearing, with thousands emailing and calling legislators to oppose the bill. Many say the hearing process itself was unfair, with opposition voices cut short. Activists vow to keep fighting until AB 715 is defeated. House Republicans have advanced a bill to slash major parts of former President Joe Biden's climate agenda in favor of funding cuts by President Donald Trump. The plan guts key elements of the Inflation Reduction Act, including clean energy tax credits and environmental protections. The proposed cuts threaten billions in funding for electric vehicles, renewable energy, and clean manufacturing. Republicans also want to fast-track fossil fuel permits and redirect $2 billion to oil reserves. The Inflation Reduction Act has already spurred $321 billion in climate investments. But to meet budget goals, Congress must cut $1.5 trillion in spending. Some GOP lawmakers and business leaders are pushing back, warning that ending tax credits could raise energy prices and harm industry already investing under current rules. Despite opposition, Republicans aim to vote on the bill before Memorial Day. India punishes Türkiye over its support for Pakistan, but spares the US and China. This and more coming up next.
Get ready for a celebration of culture, art, and tradition like never before. The second annual Turkish Festival, a cultural heritage convention, is coming to the Rosemont Convention Center in Chicago from May 23rd to the 25th.
A damning report says Elon Musk's social media platform X helped spread Islamophobia and hate during the UK's grooming gangs debate. The Center for the Study of Organized Hate found that X became a key channel for amplifying racist and Islamophobic narratives, especially targeting British Pakistani men. Musk's own posts attacking UK politicians were seen as legitimizing far-right views. He even accused Labour's Keir Starmer of being complicit in the rape of Britain. The study analyzed more than 1,300 posts with 1.5 billion views, linking much of the hate speech to coordinated far-right and Hunditfa nationalist accounts. Despite police data showing more grooming offenders are white, entire communities were blamed online. London Mayor Sadiq Khan and others faced abuse based on their ethnicity. The report warns that Musk's platform has become a megaphone for hate, wrapped in language of free speech. X and Musk have not responded. The Jabalia refugee camp in Gaza lies in ruins, devastated by Israel's relentless military offensive. Once a shelter for Palestinians displaced close to 80 years ago, the camp mirrors those same tragic conditions: flattened homes, no electricity, and families surviving in tents. Residents say the suffering is even worse than during the Nakba, referring to Israel's 1948 expulsion of Palestinians. With clean water, food, and medical care cut off, desperation grows under a total blockade. Nearly 90% of Gaza's 2.4 million people have been forcibly displaced, with Jabalia at the epicenter of this crisis. Since October 2023, Israel has killed more than 62,000 Palestinians, mostly women and children, in its genocide in Gaza. The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Israeli leaders, and the International Court of Justice is hearing a genocide case against Israel. For many in Jabalia, history is repeating itself, this time under even more devastating conditions. A Turkish aid agency has opened a rehabilitation and education center for women in war-torn Sudan. The Turkish Cooperation and Coordination Agency launched the Safe Home in Port Sudan to support women displaced by conflict since April 2023. The center will offer psychological care, vocational training, and shelter to survivors of sexual violence and forced marriages from Khartoum, Ghazira, and Sennar. It is part of Turkiye's Year of the Family initiative and was set up with Sudan's Red Sea state government and a local NGO. India is punishing Türkiye for backing Pakistan in the two countries' military standoff earlier this month, but it has spared China and the US, which armed Pakistan more heavily. The government has revoked security clearance for Chalabi Aviation, a Turkish firm operating at 9 Indian airports. Officials cite national security and that Turkish drones allegedly used by Pakistan in retaliatory attacks after India's May 8 airstrike. Top Indian universities, JNU and Jamia Millia Islamia, have cancelled ties with Turkish institutions. Critics say the moves are just symbolic. Indian scholar Omer Enes mocked the moves, calling them posturing and a nationalist spectacle. Meanwhile, a massive boycott Türkiye campaign is sweeping India. Travel firms, tour operators, and traders are cutting ties, hitting Turkiye's tourism and export sectors. But analysts question why India is not targeting China or the US, whose arms and aircraft play a bigger role in Pakistan's military. India and Pakistan have agreed to continue to maintain a ceasefire and reduce military alertness days after dangerous escalation. Following the April 22 attack in Kashmir that killed 26 people, mostly Indian tourists, both nations exchanged missiles and drone strikes last week. The US-mediated ceasefire halted the conflict. Now, the Directors General of Military Operations from both sides have held a third call, reaffirming their commitment to de-escalation and maintaining the ceasefire. Despite the thaw, tensions remain. In a speech from Srinagar, an Indian-occupied Kashmir, can we go up 2 paragraphs? Let me say that again. Despite the thaw, right here, from Despite the Thaw. 2 Uyghur men accused in the 2015 Bangkok shrine bombing in Thailand remain on trial a decade later. Adam Karadag and Yusufu Miaraili appeared in the shackles at a Thai court on Thursday. They deny planting the bomb that killed 20 and injured more than 120 people at the Erawan shrine, which is popular with Chinese tourists. The bombing is believed to be retaliation for Thailand's deportation of Uyghur migrants to China. The trial has dragged on for years due to regime changes and interpreter shortages. On Thursday, the court slashed prosecution witnesses from 55 to 20 and set dates from September to December to speed up proceedings. The two face first-degree murder charges and could be executed if found guilty. Their 2015 arrest followed a Thai crackdown on nearly 400 fleeing Uyghurs, many hoping to reach Turkiye. Deportations to China have continued, raising global concern over detainees' safety and human rights abuses. The African Development Bank and the Islamic Development Bank have launched a new strategic partnership to tackle fragility and boost resilience across Africa. Senior officials from both banks met in Abidjan for a 2-day exchange to align efforts in supporting countries facing instability, especially in the Sahel and Horn of Africa. The meeting built on past collaborations and focused on prevention rather than just crisis response. The African Development Bank highlighted its $610 million commitment to fragile states through its Transition Support Facility in 2024. Leaders from both banks hailed the alliance as a game-changer for vulnerable states, stressing the need for sustainable, locally driven solutions to complex challenges. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.